everyone for joining us tonight, and thanks to all of the LFA faculty and students for sharing more about who they are and their involvement in the community. Tonight's program, we are excited to share more about the arts department. Throughout the next kind of 15-20 minutes, we're going to give a presentation and share that insight. We will allow for question and answers. So at the bottom, you'll see the chat box. Please send me any questions that you have, and we'll make sure to answer those at the end of the program. But I would like to toss it back over to Mr. Koenig to provide more information about the arts curriculum.
All right, well, welcome to LFA. If you were to join us as a freshman, you would need to complete 3 arts classes. That's 3 semesters of art, 1.5 credits over your 4 years, but that is just a minimum. We really look forward to trying to have you with us all 4 years. If you're coming in as a sophomore, junior, or senior, 1 credit is required. So that's just 2 semesters. Within the theater, or within our class offerings, we have a pretty robust theater program with acting, directing, writing for performance. You can see all the things on the slide there. Those classes really get into what it is to make theater. It's not just, turning on the lights. It's what are we trying to create? Larger sort of things. We put students into positions of leadership within there. Similar in music, we've got choir, orchestra. We offer a piano class that's pretty much a beginning piano class, and then advanced music production. So that used to be our electronic music course or program. It's now getting a little bit bigger. We're adding vocals and that sort of element. Within visual arts, we have design courses, drawing, painting, photography, and printmaking. We actually have a freshman class that goes over a lot of this and introduces where everything is as sort of a foundational class, getting students kind of familiar with us and where we work. Within 3D, we do a lot of ceramics. I teach a woodworking class. Catherine's in a really cool glass class. She mentioned that it's not glass blowing. Everybody expects us to be doing that. It's glass fusing. So it's working with gravity and heat and glass. And then sculpture course. Let's see here. AP courses, music theory is is a pretty regular one for music students, and then art history, AP art history. We actually have 2 sections of AP art history right now. It's a very popular course. But if you've expended all of our classes, you're interested in some specific area, we can actually help create a program for you, create an area of study. So we do independent studies, musical theater, film production. Safi and I are in a film production one right now. And world theater are just some of them. But if you come to us with a great question, we're really interested in helping you answer that and investigate. I think that covers most of our program. Matt, do you have anything to add there?
You mentioned it, but it perhaps bears repeating that we do want students to have, we're going for a student-centric approach. And that means that we hope that our students in the arts have focused a lot on higher order thinking and on lateral thinking. And what that means, lateral thinking, we're looking for people who can be creative problem solvers and think outside the box. And with higher order thinking, we're looking for people who can be analytical, critical thinkers and really synthesize different ideas, philosophical ideas, with their artistic ideas. So we want everybody to see all the ways that the art gets made. On the performing side, we want you to understand whether you intend to be or whether your favorite thing is acting or directing or playwriting or production, lights, sound. We want you to know everything that does come together to make the show. So when we did a show in the fall, the entire cast adapted the piece and had a big hand in working with the production students in figuring out where the piece would be and what it would look like. So we want the most intelligent and informed performers and visual artists that we can put out into the world who have rich and informed takes on whatever it is that they are making in the world of art.
Could the students maybe just take a second to speak to the art classes that they're currently in and kind of share what those experiences have been?
Mhm.
So I take advanced acting right now, and I've actually never taken an arts course. Like at my old school, I never did. So it was really interesting getting to LFA, and every day is something new. Like you never know what Mr. Baresi is going to have in store for you. Like if you're going to be doing a dialogue, or you're going to be building a house of cards while you read the dialogue. Like you just never know, and it's so unpredictable. And I've learned so much already. Like I've learned new techniques, and I know that every day I take that class, like I am improving.
I'm a little bit more involved backstage. So I've taken, my case is kind of unique, but I've taken Theater Tech 1 and 2 for 4 years, which is typically only a class that you take for 1 year. But essentially the way that the class works is that you have your first year, you kind of learn a little bit about everything. So like lighting design, sound design, set design, props, working backstage and whatnot. But then as you continue to go on and grow within LFA, you start to choose a focus. So my focus is lighting design and set design. And so like our busiest times of the year are normally like during the musical or during the fall play, where everything's just like go, 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 go. But like, I focus on that. And then like I have friends who do like sound design, and then other friends who do, video and film, and it's pretty great. And then I also take art history. So if there are any questions on that, I can speak on that. And then another class that's on the slide that I take is my independent study in film production. So essentially I meet with Mr. Koenig like twice a cycle, and we brainstorm ideas for potential films. And so as my final project, I'm actually working on a documentary about facilities and maintenance, and who works at LFA and makes the school run behind the scenes. So it's really creative and really free form, and it really is a class that I can do whatever I want with it. So good. I'm glad I decided to take it.
All right, so I do take orchestra. I've taken orchestra for the last 3 years, and I didn't really came here with a ton of experience. I started playing trumpet when I was in middle school, so I came here and I wasn't really prepared. But here's the thing: orchestra here in LFA is not like a club. It's a class, and you take it every day, so you get a lot of practice, a lot of chances to do rehearsals, and that's the way you get better like really quick. And now I'm the first chair trumpet player. And there's also a lot of opportunities for you to like do performances. We have chamber concerts, and last year's chamber concert, we can choose whatever piece we want to play and do that on the stage. And then we can also do performances for the parents' weekend. And we also have orchestra trips. Last year we went to Indianapolis, I believe, and we did some performance there. And also, other than just performing, we're also learning. During the trips, we will listen to performances by other famous orchestras, and then during the semester, there's a lot of other opportunities for you to sign up to go listen to other orchestras playing in the region, like the Alton Orchestra. That's like 30 minutes away, and I signed up for that like a few weeks ago. It was stunning. It was great. Oh, and I also saw a question here. So how do you measure the progress of instrumentalists? And that's a good question, because here our orchestra teacher is Miss Stevenson. She won't be really like looking at you every day just to make sure you have like enough progress made. It's really just you focus on your own practice, but then she'll come over every once in a while to see how much progress you made. So, but practice-wise, you really have to do it yourself.
For me, it's not as impressive as the others, but my freshman year, I've really been interested in playing piano. So I took a year-long course with Mr. Plombeck, and I learned how to play the piano, which was really exciting for me. But now this year, as Mr. Koenig mentioned, I take glass, And I actually really like that class because we learn different techniques of how to like fuse glass together. So we just finished a project on like mosaics, but before it was like a stacking project. So we get to learn a bunch of different things and like different ways to use glass and make cool pieces. So I really appreciate that.
So for performing arts, looking at our different ensembles and groups, sort of co-curricular speaking, you can look at the orchestra. That is a class that meets regularly, but then something like jazz, that is outside. And Jack, are you in jazz? I can't remember.
I am in jazz band. Yeah, I was in jazz band last year, but then because of COVID, I couldn't join. Yeah.
So that's one that sort of works more as a club sort of thing, meeting once a cycle in the evenings. Electronic music ensemble, like I was talking before, that is part of that class, that advanced music production, where working with electronic devices as well as acoustic devices to create music. And then the pit orchestra is actually just for the musical. This year, it's something we're devising. We're looking at a lot of non-Western music, trying to bring pop culture stuff as well as cultural music in. And so this is a really collaborative effort with our music teachers. On the vocal side, we have the choir, which is again a class, but then Vox, which is a co-curricular. People who take lessons or who just have an interest in show choir or jazz hands really can jump in there and sing some songs and have some fun. Within that is an a cappella group that sings without, a cappella means without instrumentation. I believe Mr. Brazy can correct me on that one. And Coax is a student faculty rock band that comes and performs in the theater occasionally. We do a fall play. We were talking about doing Alice in Wonderland. The students are really involved within this creation and design and devising element, as well as putting themselves out there as actors and performers and designers and such. Same with the winter musical. Right now, we're leveraging a lot of the strengths of LFA, the intelligent students, the variety of places that we're from, all of our backgrounds, and creating this beautiful winter musical that I'm really looking forward to. Safia's basically taken control of the writing team and is finishing that thing off here soon, I hope. And then Stage Crew, which is another time for Safia and I to hang out, is a crew of about 20 people. We come together, we build the set, we work on designs, costuming, that sort of stuff, lighting, sound, all those elements. And then kind of what Jack was talking about, chamber concerts, times for solo or small ensemble pieces to come out and perform. One of the things when you're a performing artist, you need that time to perform in front of others, get rid of that stage fear, that stage fright, and get yourself out there in front of people. Vocal lessons, we have a vocal music program with independent lessons. And we look for opportunities. Within our schedule, we have an all-school meeting slot. So one time out of every 7 class days, we have a 45-minute spot. Sometimes we will do performances in there. Our next one will actually be student performances. Anything else I missed or should add? Any other pieces or parts? I think I've covered everything there.
There's an opportunity because our teacher to student ratio is so excellent. We are able to give a great deal of personal attention. And if there is anything that's not on the menu that you're very interested in, it is possible to do an independent study. I have a student right now who's doing an independent study in world theater styles. He's looking at theater from all different countries throughout history and trying to find connections between parallels that happen in different countries in different centuries, but that produced similar kinds of theater. Eventually, he's going to put that on stage by bringing some stage techniques from around the world and throughout history together into a work. We had a student who was very interested in stage combat. We brought in a consultant from outside the school, a downtown stage combat coordinator from Chicago, who worked with her, and she was able to put together a stage combat, a little exposition, a little scene that featured a lot of the stage combat that she learned with her friends. So in the spring, we do the fall play, we do the winter musical, but all kinds of elements of design and writing and directing and discovery that students may have been working on throughout the year, perhaps in an independent study form, a directed study form, a club, or on their own. We can get those things on the stage as well in the spring. So we have some very robust offerings in a lot of different fields. If you don't find what you're looking for there, it's also possible to customize it with a teacher mentor.
And another thing in that world, just to kind of plug what I do, we are working with professional level equipment. We have a theater that really mirrors what you would see if you were to go downtown Chicago, go into even Broadway performing spaces. We are very similar. Our students are working with designing and executing design with professional equipment, what you would see in a touring group. So let's go over to visual art. We'll talk about that really quick. As a visual arts teacher as well, we offer quite a bit. We have all the classes that we talked about just a little bit ago, but we try to get students into arts competitions both locally and nationally. We have a couple galleries that we are able to get our stuff out into the local community. We have a lot of, we're developing a lot of displaced locations on campus and always looking to do more. And similarly, we have, similar to like the theater, we have a very professional studio space where students can come in and do work, you know, clay, drawing, painting, glass, that sort of stuff. We have a lot of opportunities within that world. And have a lot of great outcomes you can see on this slide. We do prepare students for college application. Safia is looking at going into production in college, and so we're putting together a lot of different things. She just made a movie over the summer. And I actually should have asked, is that part of your college application?
Yeah, I mean, a few of them. I made a short film. It was only about 5 minutes, but I actually was able to put it together because the school was able to loan to me some of the camera equipment that we use, and it was really, really high quality. And so, yeah, but it's going on my college applications for sure.
Good. So we have an arts concentration program that allows students to focus, to dig down deep into an area that they are very interested in. Vocal music, instrumental music, three-dimensional, photography. If you're way into darkroom, you could work with our photography teacher and spend lots and lots of hours in the darkroom. Same with the theater. Just about every one of our students in the theater spends quite a bit of time investigating, questioning, developing, finding answers, trying to find new answers, find new questions. It's a very invested sort of process.
Yeah, if you're interested, when you go into your college meetings, when you go into the college admissions process, they're going to want to know more about you. And if you'd like to be able to say to those college admissions folks, I really quite deliberately went above and beyond in my preferred field of study in the arts, then arts concentration might be for you, because you can say that you essentially, I don't know if you want to call it a major or a minor, but you took additional classes above and beyond what was the requirement. You worked with teachers within and without the school, above and beyond what was in the program, and really made a meal out of that aspect in the arts that you love so much. So it's a way to say to the colleges, I was invested, I went that extra mile, and it's something that I deeply care about and will continue to care about when I go on to my next institution.
Yep, this is my passion.
Great. Well, thank you guys for sharing that information. We have a couple questions, and so I'll toss that out and feel free to type your questions below as you think of them. The first is how are students able to get involved? You are all freshmen and new students allowed to audition for plays in the different groups, or is that limited to certain types of students?
With regard to the play and the musical, I'm very proud to say that there is opportunity for anyone who has the will and the work ethic and the talent's a tricky word because I don't want to say magic words that you're sort of born with, but it's a small school. And we try to make as many opportunities for performance or to practice your art as humanly possible. So if you are a freshman, like, will you walk right in and get the lead in a play or a musical? Well, that's a big challenge because of course there's seniors who've been studying for 4 years, but you are not prima facie, you are not ruled out for anything. You can audition for any role on the first day. Because we are not looking to cut you, we are looking to educate you. Yep. We want to get you the biggest and the most parts we can all 4 years so that you can do the thing that you love and get better at the thing that you love.
It's really about encouraging. Like we would encourage anyone to come out for the play. It doesn't matter who you are or if you have experience or not, we're interested. And I think that's kind of across the board with looking at Vox, looking at some of our co-curricular groups. It's really about the interest, the curiosity, rather than maybe the current skill set, right? We're here to develop. We're teachers, and so we want to make sure that you're growing in those groups. But don't be afraid. Jump in.
And this one's for the students. How do you pick your art classes? If you could give some kind of feedback on what that process is like.
All right, I'll share my experiences. So my first year was here in ESL, and I didn't really get to pick any classes. So lucky for you guys, when you guys come in, there's no more ESL requirements. You can jump into other art classes first year to LFA. And when I picked my classes, I chose orchestra because I was in my middle school's orchestra, and I hope to continue my passion here. And now, of course, it was quite challenging because we have quite difficult pieces, but there were definitely opportunities for everyone. Like if you're less experienced, you can do, you can definitely do like less difficult parts. There's part like for first trumpet, second trumpet, third trumpet. If you're less experienced, you might go to third trumpet. But as your skill sets are improving, you can definitely go to first trumpet and play more difficult parts. And you can also get help pretty easily. Here in the orchestra, like Miss Stevenson, her husband is a trumpet player, and I sometimes just go to him and ask for some help. And you can also go to Miss Stevenson herself, and she'll give you a lot of fantastic advice. And as for other classes, I've been thinking about taking photography and just photography, but I didn't really get to fit into my schedule. I actually overloaded my classes last year, so kind of sucked.
Honestly, if what you're passionate about, there is a class for you here. I have been acting since I was in 6th grade, and I have always loved being on stage. So when I looked at all the courses, I knew that I wanted to take an acting class here to kind of learn more of the technical stuff outside of just being in plays and musicals. So for me, it was a pretty easy choice, but I could totally see myself taking an independent study next year to even go beyond what I've already learned so far this year.
And there are certainly students that study a breadth of the arts. They're not just actors, just painters, just production. We have people that they'll play a role in a show, and the next show they'll be designing. Like Safia, of course, is designing the set for the show and writing the show as well. I'm trying to think of some other success stories where people have really worn multiple hats, but there is a path to that. you needn't be siloed, and we actually prefer that you have a breadth of experience within the arts, because we do think that understanding different facets of it lends itself to success in its complementary form.
A lot of my classes that I've taken, I've stumbled on by mistake. Well, not mistake, because it turned out to be good, but like theater tech, my brother took it. He went here before I did. So I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And then the first day, like literally the first day of theater tech was the first time I've ever been in a theater. So like I had like no experience. And now I've learned so much over the past 4 years. But classes like art history, I saw it on like the class recommendations course, and I was like, that sounds kind of cool too. So then I took it, and then I heard that there were independent studies, and so I was like, that sounds great too. And so I feel like a lot of the times there isn't much pressure to like, you have to take this art class, you have to take that art class, and it's really free form, and like you can take what you want and do what you love, and if you like it you can continue doing it. If you don't, like, you can move on to the next thing. So I feel like that's what's really great with LFA, and it allows you to explore all of your options.
Yeah, for me, I'd say that because LFA offers like a multitude of different things within the arts program, it like makes it really easy to choose something. Because for me, I'm not really in Cressy, the theater, as much as the rest of them. But because like piano was an option and glass was an option, I was more inclined to choose to take these courses because of the variety, like I said, that they offer.
Great, thank you guys. I know we're at about a half hour, so I know we've had great questions, and we're happy to answer additional questions and connect everyone to Mr. Koenig and Mr. Brazy and the other arts teachers if you have additional questions throughout the admissions process, so please let us know. I also wanted to let everyone know of the upcoming Closer Looks. We have, the next one is on clubs, leadership, and service learning. If you'd like to learn more about other extracurricular opportunities in the LFA community. In January, we'll have one on college counseling and one that will feature our current parents, so parents can connect with other parents. But thank you for your time tonight. We really appreciated getting to share our fantastic arts department with you. And thank you again to our faculty and students for jumping on the call tonight. We know it's a busy time of year, but thank you everyone, and have a wonderful evening.